Lieutenant Dolan.
Leaving children in a hot minivan to
setting fire to children's bedrooms
because
eight of the most horrible nannies. Hello there.
Oh,
My name is
Josh,
Museum, Lord of the Dead, and today I will be reading the words on this here piece of paper for your enjoyment. Number 8, Louise Woodward. Louise was an English nanny who was arrested and was later charged for the shaking death of 8-month-old Matthew Apin, working for Sunil and Deborah Apin in Newton, Massachusetts. Woodward's crime of child abuse was discovered after Matthew was admitted to a children's hospital in Boston. Doctors found that the comatose infant had a fractured skull, and 5 days later, he passed away. It was determined that Matthew had shaken baby syndrome after a doctor noticed retinal hemorrhages. Woodward was found guilty of second-degree murder, but days later a judge changed the conviction to involuntary manslaughter. Number 7, Yoselin Ortega. In an apartment in Manhattan's Upper West Side, nanny Yoselin Ortega murdered the 2 children in her care and attempted to commit suicide. The brutal act occurred because, according to Ortega, she was angry at the family for changing her schedule and making her clean. In addition, she also blamed her financial issues. Ortega, who suffered from delusions, believed that stabbing the children, a girl of the age of 6 and a boy who was 2, in the bathroom while their mother was picking up the 3rd child, it was justified. After stabbing the children, Ortega slit her own throat, but she ended up surviving. Later on, Ortega apologized profusely for the crime, but remains in a psychiatric hospital. Number 6, Kristen Marie Jones. An Oregon nanny found herself in very hot water after leaving 2 children in her care in a hot minivan. The nanny, 23-year-old Kristen Marie Jones, left the 2-month-old girl and the 3-year-old boy in the minivan while she went into a tanning salon. It was 90 degrees outside, and the children were sweating and screaming. A witness called the police, and an officer arrived and let them out. The heat from one of the children could easily be felt through the officer's bulletproof vest. Jones was charged with 2 counts of first-degree criminal mistreatment, recklessly endangering another, and first-degree child neglect. Number 5, Martha Dreher. Babysitter Martha Dreher was at her wit's end with the bad behavior of the 2 girls she had to watch. Instead of giving them a tedious timeout, however, Dreher decided to set their bedrooms on fire. The 57-year-old Texas woman went into the house one night while the 2 girls were out of town with their father and their brother was out. She went to the girls' bedrooms and she set them on fire. When she was done, Martha closed the doors to try and contain the fire. An hour after she left, their brother returned home and noticed the smoke, but by then, the fire had burned itself out. Martha was charged with arson, but denied committing the crime despite surveillance footage of her entering the house and then leaving 20 minutes later. That was the same time that flames could be seen in the girls' bedrooms. Number 4, Nicole Candelaria. Harsh is probably too light of a word to describe the punishment that Arizona nanny Nicole Candelaria gave a 3-year-old girl for pooping in the bathtub. She forced that little girl to eat her own feces. The 27-year-old, in addition to making her boyfriend's 3-year-old daughter eat her own poop for the accident, also held her down on the toilet seat and shoved a bar of soap in her mouth. Candelaria called the little girl a liar, but her siblings confirmed their sister's story. Doctors also found bruising on the little girl that indicate that she was held down with force. Nicole was charged with felony child abuse. Number 3, Larissa Zulitskaya. When a couple in Russia noticed aggressive behavior coming from their 2-year-old daughter, they set up a hidden camera. While the camera rolled, they soon realized the reason. Their toddler was being abused. The hidden camera captured the disturbing events while they were out, and their nanny, Larissa Zulitskaya, was placed in charge of their daughter Sasha. Larissa threatened to push Sasha's face into her bowl of soup if she didn't eat it, only after grabbing her by the hair and slapping her across the face. Mealtime ended, and Larissa roughly wiped her face clean and shoved her out of her chair. After locking Sasha in the kitchen, the nanny from hell relaxed on the sofa and watched TV. While Zulitskaya denied any routine abuse, she said that on that day, she was in a foul mood because of personal problems. Still, the parents did the right thing by firing her, and they then proceeded to give the videotape to the police. Number 2. Annalise Mercado. A Long Island, New York nanny wanted to make the 4-month-old child in her care more manageable, so she decided to medicate the girl. The 48-year-old Annalise Mercado gave allergy medicine to the infant so that she would maybe calm down and her job would be a lot easier. It didn't matter that the warning label on the box clearly stated that the medicine was not intended for children under 4 years of age. Accessing her nanny cam on her work laptop, the girl's mother saw Mercado giving her 5 doses of the allergy medicine, and then she raced home. While she denied the mother's accusations, Mercado was arrested and charged with endangering welfare of a child. Number 1. Jailuchera Bubokulova. Another story from Russia. This one involves a 38-year-old nanny by the name of Jailuchera Bubokulova, who murdered the 4-year-old girl in her care. But the story doesn't end there. After her older brother and parents left their apartment, Bubokulova murdered the child and set the apartment on fire before leaving. Now, what makes this story truly disturbing is that before leaving the apartment, Bubokulova cut off the girl's head. She stood outside a Moscow subway station and with the girl's head in her hand, repeated an Islamic slogan. Bubokulova was arrested and charged with murder and is currently undergoing psychiatric tests to see if she understands the severity of her actions. It seems I must leave you now, mortals, but don't worry. I shall return. But Gordon didn't call.
So goodbye. So I hope you don't have a nightmare because it's scared that would be a nightmare will get take all the way to the next level. Goodbye and happy.